Good morning, students. Today we are going to discussing about the second part of the locomotion and movement. The first part of the locomotion and movement, that is a muscle. The second important part of the locomotion movement, the second part, it is known as a human skeleton system. What is the second part? Today we are going to discuss human skeleton system. Human skeleton system. Today we are going to discuss human skeleton system. Human skeleton system. Human skeleton system. Today we are going to discuss human skeleton system. It is the second part of the locomotion and movement. Human skeleton system. How many bones are present in our body? 206 bones. How many bones? 206 bones present human body. How many bones are present in the human body? 206 bones. Human skeleton system is divided into two types. Human skeleton system is divided into two types. The first type of the human skeleton system, axial skeleton. What is the first one? Axial skeleton. The first type of the human skeleton, axial skeleton. The second, the skeleton, it is known as a appendicular skeleton. Appendicular skeleton. The second one is known as a appendicular skeleton. The first one, axial skeleton. Axial skeleton means it forms central axis of the body. Central axis of the body. It forms central axis of the body. Appendicular means appendages. It's nothing but appendages. Appendages means forelimbs and hind limbs. Appendages means forelimbs and hind limbs. Forelimbs and hind limbs. Forelimbs and hind limbs. The human skeleton system is divided into two types. The human skeleton system is divided into two types. First one, axial skeleton. Second one is known as a appendicular skeleton. The first one, axial skeleton, it forms central axis of the body. The appendicular skeleton is nothing but appendages. This axial skeleton, it is consists of 80 bones. How many bones are present in the axial skeleton? 80 bones. The appendicular skeleton, it is consists of 126 bones. The axial skeleton, it is consists of 80 bones. The axial skeleton is consists of 80 bones. The appendicular skeleton, it is consists of 126 bones. 126 bones. The total bones present in our body, 206 bones. The human skeleton, it is divided into two types. The first one, axial skeleton. Axial skeleton means it forms central axis of the body. It forms central axis of the body. It is consists of 80 bones. It is consists of how many bones are present in the central axis of the body? 80 bones. The second one, appendicular skeleton, is nothing but appendages. This appendages is consists of 126 bones. Appendages is nothing but forelimbs and hind limbs. It is consists of 126 bones. The total bones, it is consists of in our body 206 bones. How many bones are present in the total body, human body of the human skeleton? 206 bones. First, we are discussing about the axial skeleton. What is the first one? Axial skeleton. What is the first one? Axial skeleton. What is the first type of the skeleton? Axial skeleton. The axial skeleton means it forms central axis of the body. It forms central axis of the body. It forms central. It forms central axis of the body. It forms central axis of the body. It forms central axis of the body. What are the parts under the category of the central axis of the body? The first important part, it is known as the first axial skeleton. What is the first axial skeleton? What is the first axial skeleton? Skull. What is the first one? Skull. What is the central axis first one? Skull. What is the first one? Skull. The second important axial skeleton, it is known as a first one, skull. The second one, hyoid bone. What is the bone? Hyoid bone. It is nothing but tongue bone. It is nothing but tongue bone. The third important axial skeleton. The first axial skeleton, skull. The skull, the second important, the central axis in our body. It is from central axis. The second one is known as the hyoid bone. Hyoid bone means tongue bone. The third important bone, it is known as a rib cage. What do you know? Rib cage. Rib cage. The rib cage, it is consist of the first, the rib cage, it is also central axis of the body. The central axis of the body. Coming to the first one, skull. How many bones are present in the skull? How many bones are present in the skull? 22 bones are present in the skull. How many bones are present in the skull? 22 bones. And also, hyoid bone, it is consist of single bone. Hyoid bone means tongue bone. Coming to the next one, rib cage. This entire rib cage is consist of 51 bones. How many bones are present in the rib cage? 51 bones. First one, skull. The skull, if you observe the skull is consist of how many bones? 22 bones. Out of 22 bones, the first one, it is known as a cranium. You know, cranium. The cranium, it is nothing but brain box. The cranium, it is nothing but brain box. It is nothing but brain box. The brain is protected by this entire brain is protected by the box is known as the brain box. This cranium, it is protected by the, how many bones are present in the cranium? 8 bones. How many bones are present in the cranium? 8 bones. The second important part of the skull, it is known as a, what is the second one? Facial bones. What is the bones? Facial bones. How many bones are present in the face? The entire face is protected by the, how many bones? Facial bones? 14 bones. The total bones? 22 bones. How many bones? 22 bones. Coming to the hyoid bone. Hyoid bone, it is nothing but tongue bone. It is nothing but tongue bone. How many bones are protected by the tongue? It is protected. It is the surface. It is protected by the, under the surface of the tongue. It is protected by the hyoid bone. It is only one bone. Next one, rib cage. The rib cage is protected by the entire bones. 51 bones. The first bone, it is nothing but sternum. It is nothing but sternum. The first bone, it is known as a sternum. It is a one bone. It is a flat bone. It is present in the, it looks like a flat bone. And also dagger shape. The second important, it is known as a ribs. How many ribs are present in the, is a central axis of the body? How many ribs? 12 pairs of the ribs. How many ribs? 12 pairs of the ribs. 12 pairs means 24 ribs are present. And also the third one, it is known as a vertebral column or backbone. How many bones are present in the backbone or vertebral column? It is a 26 bones. How many bones are present in the backbone? The backbone, or also known as a, is nothing but vertebral column. Vertebral column. How many bones are present in the vertebral column? 26 bones. The entire rib cage is consist of how many bones? 51 bones. How many bones? 51 bones. The human skeletal system, it is divided into two types. First one, axial skeleton. The second one, appendicular skeleton. The first one, axial skeleton. Axial skeleton means it forms central axis of the body. The second one is known as the appendicular skeleton. Appendicular means appendages. The first one, axial skeleton. How many bones are present in the central axis of the body? 80 bones. The first one, it is known as a skull. How many bones are present in the skull? 22 bones. For the cranium, it is also known as a brain box. It is consist of 8 bones. And also, this facial bones consist of 14 bones. The total bones, 22 bones. Next one, hyoid bone. Hyoid bone means tongue bone. How many bones are present in the tongue? Only one. And also, rib cage, 51. And 22, it is a and skull and also consist of hyoid bone 1, and also the central axis, the fourth important one, axial skeleton, it is known as a ear ossicles. Ear ossicles. Ear ossicles means ear bones. How many bones are present in each ear? 3 pairs of bones. 3 pairs of bones means the 6 bones protected by the ears. 6 bones are present in the ears. 51, 6, and also tongue 1 bones, and skull also it is consist of 22 bones. How many bones here? See here, 22 bones. 22 bones present in the skull, and also 1 bone is the hyoid bone, and the rib cage it is consist of 51, and also ear ossicles it is consist of rib cage it is consist of 6 1. See here, 51. 51 means it is a rib cage. It is 6 means ear ossicles. Ear ossicles. Here 6 plus 7, 8, 10. How many bones are present in the axial skeleton of the human body? The first one, it forms central axis of the body. It is how many bones are present in the axial skeleton? 80 bones are present in the axial skeleton. How many bones? 80 bones are present in the axial skeleton. 22 bones are present in the skull. 1 is hyoid bone, means tongue bone, and also rib. It is consist of rib cage. It consists of 51 bones, and also ear ossicles. How many bones? 6. 6 plus 2, 8. 8 plus 2, 10. 10 plus 1 means 5 plus 2, 7. 7 plus 80. 80 bones are present in the entire axial skeleton. How many bones are axial skeleton? It is the central axis of the body. It is consist of skull bone, hyoid bone, rib cage, sternum, ribs, backbones, ear ossicles. The total bones of the axial skeleton, 80 bones are present in the axial skeleton. 80 bones are present in the axial skeleton. The first important one is known as a skull. What is the first axial skeleton? Skull. What is the first important one? It is known as a axial skeleton. What is the first one? Axial skeleton. Axial skeleton. The axial skeleton. The axial skeleton means the skull. It is consist of the axial skeleton. What is the first one? Axial skeleton. First, we are going to discussing about the axial skeleton. Under the axial skeleton, what is the first one? Axial skeleton. What is the first one? Axial skeleton. Axial skeleton. What is the first axial skeleton? First part of the axial skeleton. The central part, it is known as a skull. What is the first part? Skull. How many bones are present in the skull? 22 bones are present in the axial skeleton. The first one, the axial skeleton, is consist of skull. The skulls, it is protected by the 22 bones. The first one, it is known as the cranium. What is the first one? Cranium. The cranium means the entire brain is protected by the, it is known as a brain box. It is known as a brain box. How many bones are protected by the brains? How many bones are protected by the brains? 8 bones. And also the second one, it is known as the facial bones. What is the second one? Facial bones. How many bones are present in the fascia? 12 bones. The total bones, 22 bones are present in the fascia. The 22 bones are present in the fascia. First, we are discussing about the cranium. Cranium means brain box. brain box. This entire skull, it is protected by the how many bones? 22 bones. But the cranium, it is protected by the only 8 bones. But the facial bones are the 14. The total bones are the 14 plus 8. 22 bones are present. 22 bones are present. If you observe the skull, the skull bones, how many bones are present in the skull? 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 The total bones are present in the skull. The total bones present in the skull. The total bones is present in the skull. The total bones present in the skull. The total bones present in the entire skull. The total bones, how many bones are present in the skull? 22 bones. 22 bones. How many bones are present in the skull? 22 bones are present in the skull. How many bones are present in the skull? 22 bones are present in the skull. Out of 22, the brain box is protected by the 8 bones, the facial bones, 14 bones, total bones, 22 bones. The axial skeleton, the first one, it is known as a skull. What is the first one? Skull. First one in the skull, it is known as a cranium. Cranium. How many bones in cranium? Okay, 8 bones are protected by the 8 bones to protect. 8 bones to protected by the 8 bones to protected by the brain. The 8 bones are protected by the brains. If you observe the skull, the first part of the skull, it is known as the frontal bones. What is the bones? Frontal bones. What is the bones? The frontal bones. What is the bones? Frontal bones. Frontal bones. Frontal bones. How many frontal bones are present in the skull? How many frontal bones? Only one bone. It is the frontal bone. It is a frontal bone. Frontal bone means it is the forehead. Something but forehead. What is the frontal bone? Forehead. The second important after the frontal bone. After the frontal bone, it is consist of parietal bone. What is the bone? Parietal bone. Frontal bone, parietal bones. Parietal bones. How many parietal bones are present in our body? It is the right side one and left side one. The total parietal bones, one pair, means 2 bones are present in the parietal bones. How many bones are present in the parietal bones? How many bones are parietal bones? 2 bones. How many bones? 2 bones. After the parietal bone, the next bone is nothing but next bone. The next bone, it is known as a occipital bone. Occipital bone. What is it? Occipital bone. How many bones are occipitals? It is a hinder side. It is a lower side. So it is a occipital bone. It is a occipital bone. It is a parietal bone. It is a frontal bone. Okay. After the frontal bone, it is how many bones are occipital bones? Only one bone. Next one, temporal bone. How many bone? Temporal bone. How many temporal bones? 2 are the temporal bones. After the temporal bones, 2 are the temporal bones. After the temporal bones, see here, after the temporal bones, one important bone, it is known as after the temporal bones, next one, it is known as a sphenoid bone. What is the bone? Sphenoid bone. How many bones are present in the sphenoid bone? Only one bone. The next important bone, it is known as ethmoid bone. Ethmoid bone. What is a bone? Ethmoid bone. How many bones are present in the ethmoid bone? Only one bone. Ethmoid bone. The next one, zygomatic bone. What is a bone? Zygomatic bone. Zygomatic bone. And also after the zygomatic bones is nothing but maxilla bone. Is nothing but maxilla bone. Is nothing but mandibles bone. How many bones are present in the only cranium? How many bones? What is the first bone? It is nothing but frontal bone. How many bones? Only one. The second one, parietal bone. How many parietal bones? 2. Third one, occipital bone. How many bones? 1. Next one, temporal bone. How many temporal bones? 2. How many temporal bones? 2. Next one, sphenoid bone. How many sphenoid bones? 1. Next one, ethmoid bone. How many ethmoid bones? 1. The total bones, 8 bones. This zygomatic bone, maxilla bone, and mandibles bones, these bones are not under the category of the cranium. How many bones are present in the skull? The first one, it is known as a frontal bone. That is nothing but forehead. It is parietal bone. It is nothing but roof of the skull. It is not roof of the skull. It is the hinder part. Of the skull. Hinder part, lower part. It is the temporal means lateral part. It is the lateral part of the skull. How many bones are protected by the cranium? How many bones? 8 bones. The first bone, it is known as frontal bones. How many bones? 1 bone. Next one, parietal bones. How many bones? 2 bones. Next, occipital bone, only 1 bone. Next one, it is the temporal bones, 2 bones. Next, sphenoid bone, 1 bone. The sphenoid bone, 1, frontal 1, parietal 2, occipital 1, and also temporal. It is a temporal 2 bones. Frontal 1, parietal 2, occipital 1, temporal 2, sphenoid 1, ethmoid 1. Total bones, 8 bones. These 8 bones to protected by the brain. Protected by the brain box. It is protected by the brain box. These 8 bones to protected by the brain box. If you observe the brain, protected by the brain box. If you observe the brain, the brain box is protected by the how many bones? The brain box is protected by the how many bones? Brain box is protected by the first bone. It is nothing but sphenoid bone. The first one, the brain is protected by the sphenoid bone. It is the lower side of the body. The next part, it is nothing but ethmoid bone. And also it is nothing but frontal bone. It is nothing but parietal bone. It is nothing but occipital bone. The brain is protected by the brain box. Brain is protected by the 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 how many bones? 8 bones. Brain is protected by the 8 bones. The first, this bone, it is nothing but sphenoid bone. What is the bone? Sphenoid bone. How many bones? Sphenoid bones? Only one. And also the second, it is nothing but, it is only one. It is nothing but ethmoid bone. Ethmoid bone. How many bones? One. Next bone is nothing but frontal bone. Isn't it now? Frontal bone. How many bones? One. Parietal bone. Parietal bone. Parietal bone. How many? 2. And also temporal bone. Temporal bone. Temporal bones. How many? 2. And also occipital bone. Occipital bone. Occipital bone. Occipital bone. How many bones are occipital bones? How many bones are occipital bones? Total bones? 1. 1. And also occipital bone. Parietal bones, roof of the skull. And also frontal bone. It is the forehead. And it's ethmoid. Ethmoid. It is present in the inside the eyes. And also sphenoid bones. The sphenoid bones is present in the below the nose part. It is nothing but sphenoid bones. Sphenoid bones. If you observe the sphenoid bones, see here. If you observe the sphenoid bones, for example, it is a sphenoid bone. Is the sphenoid bone. The small depression of the sphenoid bone. For example, sphenoid bone. Sphenoid bone. The small depression of the sphenoid bone. It is known as the small depression. The small depression of the bone. The small depression of the bone. It is known as a sella turcica. Sella turcica. What is the meaning of this sella turcica? It is nothing but a pituitary gland. Pituitary gland. The pituitary gland located. The pituitary gland located. The pituitary gland located. It is occupies into the sphenoid bones. The small depression. The place of the pituitary gland. The place of the pituitary gland. It is a pituitary gland. It is a sphenoid bone. The pituitary gland, it is occupied into the space of the, it is the location of the sphenoid bone. This sphenoid bone creates small depression. This depression, it is known as a sella turcica. Sella turcica means the small depression of the sphenoid bone. This place is occupied to the pituitary gland. The pituitary gland. If you observe the occipital bone, in our body, if you observe the occipital bone, what is known? Occipital bones, it is present in the here. See, it is a occipital bone. Occipital bone is present in the back side of the skull. It is the occipital bone. This occipital bone, it is consist of large hole. The large opening present in the largest opening present in our body. The largest opening present in our body. The largest opening present in our body, it is known as a occipital bone. This opening, it is known as a foramen magnum. Foramen magnum. What is the opening? Foramen magnum. It is the largest opening present in the back of the skull. It is known as a Occipital bone consists of largest opening. It is nothing but foramen magnum. What is the function of the foramen magnum? The brain, it is existed. The brain, it is entering into the brain. Again enter into this opening. It is helpful for it is the exist opening of the spinal cord. It is existed into the back side of the brain. It is, for example, it is a brain. The brain, it is again the brain. After that, spinal cord. The brain. After that, you can modify it into it is nothing but spinal cord. This spinal cord, it is originated from the brain. The spinal cord, it is originated from the brain with the help of largest opening is known as a foramen magnum. This opening, it is opening place of the brain. It is the brain again open into the spinal cord. This spinal cord is opening. It is a what is known as a foramen magnum. And also the human body skull, it is known as a dicondolic skull. What is known as dicondolic skull? The human skull, it is known as a dicondolic skull. Human skull, it is known as a dicondolic skull. Dicondolic skull. The human skull, it is known as a it is known as a mammal skull. It is known as a dicondolic skull. What is known as dicondolic skull? Di means two, condoli means bones. The skull, it is consist of two bones. For example, if you observe the dicondolic bones, how many bones? Condoli bones. These condoli bones, they are occupies the first part of the vertebral column. The first part of the vertebral column, it is known as a atlas. What is it? Atlas. What is it? First part of the skull. The first part of the skull, it is known as a atlas. What is the first part? Atlas. This is the first part of the atlas. It is the first part of the skull. The first part of the vertebral column. The first part of the vertebral column, it is known as a atlas. It is nothing but axis. It is axis. It is a condoli, two condoli bones. Here one bone, the second one is known as a two condoli bones. The two condoli bones present in our body. How many condoli bones? Two condoli bones. The two condoli bones. The skull is attached to the vertebral column with the help of how many bones? Two bones. It is nothing but dicondolic skull. It is a special character of the skull. It is special character of the amphibians. It is amphibians and mammals. Human beings. Okay, human beings. It is the special character of including human beings. It is a dicondolic skull. Dicondolic skull means movement of the two bones are attached to the skull is attached to vertebral column with the help of two condoli bones. That is nothing but dicondolic bones. It is not a 360 degrees. There are no movement. Only movement. See once here. Only movement. Dicondolic. How many bones? This skull is two protected. It is the skull is it is attached to the how many bones? The skull is attached to the vertebral column. How many bones? Two bones with the help of dicondolic skull. Amphibians and mammals. Monocondolic bones. Monocondolic skull. How many bones are present in the monocondolic skull? Only one bone. It is the best example for the monocondolic. The skull is joined with the vertebral column. How many bones? Single bone. That is nothing but monoscondylicals. What is the monoscondylicals? Example: fishes and also reptiles and also birds. You know, birds, fishes, reptiles, birds. These are the example of the monochondrial skulls. If you observe the birds, it is the head is rotated towards rotated towards the 360 degrees because of the skull is it is joined with the vertebral column with the help of single bone. With the help of single bone, is a monochondrial skull. But the human beings, the skull is joined with two bones. The skull, it is joined with vertebral column with the help of the atlas. The first part of the vertebral column, atlas, is joined with two bones. What is the bones names? Condylic bones. That's why dicondylic skull. Dicondylic skull. The skull, it is consists of the, how many bones are present in the skull? How many bones? 8 bones are present. What is the first bone? Frontal bone, parietal bones, 2 bones. Next one, occipital bone, 1 bone, temporal bone, 2 bones, and also sphenoid bones, 1 bone, and also it is consists of the temporal bones, 2 bones. The total bones, 8 bones. This zygomatic bones, maxillary bones, mandibular bones, it is not under the category of the, cranium. These are under the category of the facial bones. These are the category of the facial bones. See here, if you observe the skull parts, it is if you observe the skull part, it is the entire nothing but skull. It is the first part of the, it is the frontal bones. How many frontal bones are present in the, how many frontal bones are present in the, is only one frontal bone. How many frontal bone? Only one frontal bone. If you observe the parietal bones, see here, parietal bones, 1, 2, 2 parietal bones. How many parietal bones? Is the roof of the skull. How many parietal bones? 2 parietal bones. And also, you see here, it is a occipital bone. It is a large opening. Occipital bone. It is a occipital bone. 1 bone. Occipital bone. Next one, lateral bones. That is nothing but temporal bones. Temporal bones. If you observe after the temporal bones, it is nothing but it is a ethmoid bone. What is the bone? Ethmoid bone. The next bone here, sphenoid bone. What is the bone? Sphenoid bone, ethmoid bone. One, it is the frontal bone, parietal bones, and also occipital bones. Next one, temporal bones. See here, 2 temporal bones. Next one, ethmoid bone, 1, and also the sphenoid bone, only one. These are the mandibles and also maxilla. These are the not under the category of the cranium. It is only the cranium is consists of the only 8 bones. The cranium consists of 8 bones, and also consists of here. It consists of here the tongue bones. Tongue bones, and also the rib cage. It is nothing but sternum. The sternum. How many ribs here? It is a 12 pairs of the ribs, and also vertebral column. What is it? Vertebral column. It is a backbone. It consists of 26 bones. And also ear ossicles. The ear ossicle consists of 6, means 3 pairs of bones, the total bones, and also facial bones. The facial bones, it consists of 14 bones. The total central axis of the body. It consists of axial skeleton. The total bones of the axial skeleton, 80 bones. First, we are already discussing about the skull only. Tomorrow, we are discussing about the remaining axial skeleton of the bones.